welcome to another edition of Happy Wednesdays. As you can see, I am joined by my friend Chloe from Big Beautiful Dreams. She is a YouTuber as well, but she's also got her own blog.
Yeah.
I'll leave both of the links in the description box below so you can go and check her out.
Yeah.
And I would recommend you doing so. So today on Happy Wednesdays, I thought that I would discuss quite a deep issue, and that is mental health.
Yeah.
I'd like to say at first, like, I'm nowhere an expert. I'm not a psychologist, neither of us
Both
are.
of us are not experts.
We're not experts, so you know.
Don't take a chill pill if you obviously don't agree with what we're saying.
And we both had our own experiences with different kinds of mental health. So we thought that it would be a good way to start Happy Wednesdays off properly and just discuss this topic, because I still think that there's a stigma attached to it.
Yes.
Because it's so hard to understand unless you're going through it yourself or something similar.
And I personally think there's so many people just being told you're depressed, so you have to go on these tablets, when sometimes you just need like someone to be like, yeah, you're doing fine, you're doing fine.
I think mental health is really hard to understand, because if you have a broken arm, then people could see, oh, you know, you've got a broken arm, that must be painful. But with mental health, you can't see what's going on in someone's head, so it's really hard to understand. So we just thought that we'd discuss some of our issues that we've suffered with in the past and how we manage to cope.
Yeah.
And try and help you guys out if you feel the same.
Definitely.
So when I was 14, I was diagnosed with depression. That was my first dose of mental health issues, really. I was in hospital for other reasons, and I just got really low and really sad. I didn't really know what was going on with my head. I just thought I was really low because I was missing my friends, I was out of school, and I just felt really low and sad. And then being in hospital, the doctors told me that I was diagnosed with being depressed. I had no idea what depression was and how it would affect me.
Yeah.
Each type of mental health disorder is different, and even like if you have depression, someone else can have depression, but you can have completely different symptoms. It was really hard to cope with, and I didn't really know what was going on. But recently I have been diagnosed with anxiety. Anxiety is something that's really, it's quite bizarre to explain. Anxiety stops you from doing many a thing. I've had to move home to my parents' house because I couldn't live in the town I was dwelling in because of my anxiety and because I didn't know how to cope. I had no idea what was going on at first, like no idea, but then I was diagnosed and I am trying to get out of that.
Yeah, definitely.
What's your story, Chloe?
Well, when I was 12, I was not diagnosed like with depression, but I was diagnosed with an OCD disorder called trichotillomania, and obviously it's where you cause damage to your hair. And I've been on and off, like I've had therapy, like obviously you can go and seek help with therapists and things, and it never used to work. And then when I was 17, I went to go see a therapist, and it worked. And then I went to uni, and everything just caught up with me. And at the beginning of this year, obviously it's come back. So I've gone to seek help with obviously another therapist, and I'm going to be starting, well, I have started CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy. So obviously it just gets rid of the negative force. It's like a coping mechanism, really. And obviously I've been diagnosed with anxiety this year, as well with depression. So it's really hard because we're so flamboyant and crazy that people obviously don't really understand or believe us when we say
why would we have these disorders, not disorders, these illnesses, when we appear to be so happy and so outgoing and chatty, but you don't know what's going on. Yeah, it totally is. You don't know what's going on inside of us.
No.
I think one of the scariest things for me was to ask for help. I
feel like you're being defeated.
Yeah, you feel like you're being defeated, like the illness is winning. Earlier this year, I had no idea what was wrong with me. I just thought I was down, I was homesick, but I started to have panic attacks, and they got really out of control, and I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. So I went to the doctors, where I was diagnosed as being anxious and having GAD, general anxiety disorder, and also panic. I think one of the scariest things was going to the doctors and saying, look, I need some help, I need this.
Yeah, I remember going to the doctors and I was just non-stop crying, and I was saying to the doctor, I don't even know why I'm crying. I think it's obviously because you feel like you're admitting defeat, even though you shouldn't feel like that, because not everyone is a superhero.
Although it's really scary to ask for help, I think it's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling well, say, you feel down and you don't really know why, sometimes there can be no reason. There can be no trigger. Like with my anxiety, I haven't got a trigger. It might I might have a panic attack because of little things. Like I choked on a sweet a few weeks ago in Matalan, and I had a panic attack because I thought, I was like, oh my god, I'm choking.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was super scary. But I think if you feel that you're not doing that great and you need some help, you need to know what's going on, go to the doctors and seek help, talk to friends, talk to family, explain how you're feeling, because it's just as hard for them to understand what's going on with you.
I think in a way it's torment for you, but to watch someone go through it, like I was having arguments with my partner, my mum, and I was just kind of like starting on them to try and get something negative to happen, because that's what I wanted, was something negative, and it's kind of like a conflict that you're having, because I didn't mean to be causing these arguments, but it just happened, and I'm gradually getting better with that. But obviously it all takes time.
Absolutely.
To heal yourself.
I think speaking to people is the most important thing, and letting people know that you're not feeling well, because it is hard for them to understand. Like, it really is. I appreciate that, but I do find it difficult when people don't understand what's going on with me.
Yeah, and I think as well, like speaking to a therapist, people really think
absolutely.
it's a bad idea. Like people, you're not going to like it. No one is going to like therapy, but getting what's on your mind and your conscious out there, it's really helped me in weird ways. Obviously, sometimes if I'm really stressed, it can make my trichotillomania worse. If I don't cry, if I don't share my emotion, because my problem is mainly I don't know how to understand my emotion. I don't know how to cope with it. So I think talking to people is really good, and even it's really hard to talk to your family, but sometimes talking to your family it's even better.
Definitely,
as well.
yeah, because they're the people who know you the most.
Yeah.
So that's really useful. Some coping techniques. I find meditation and relaxation really helpful. What I tend to do is lie on my bed with some, it sounds so cliche, lie on my bed with some relaxation music on. There's loads on Spotify or YouTube that you can find. I quite like the sound of waves. I find that really relaxing, like crashing waves. And I just lie on my bed, I tense all different parts of my muscles, tense for 5 seconds and then release for 5 seconds, and think I'm in a really nice place, my most relaxed place, which for me is at the beach, and just try and relax.
Sometimes it's really hard to think of a technique when you're in the environment.
But we did something really good yesterday, didn't we? On the bus. I thought that I was going to have a panic attack.
That was good.
So you said your boyfriend does it to you, don't you?
Yeah, he does like trivia quizzes, and like I find it sometimes really annoying, but sometimes it's really good because it puts you off.
Yeah, it
of
takes
what
your
you're
mind
thinking.
off it. Yeah.
So we did a Friends quiz, and then Holly asked me a Disney quiz, which I did terrible at.
But I thought I didn't have a panic attack, and it completely went away.
And it went away.
Yeah.
I sometimes find walking, things that with me, because obviously it's to do with my hands and obviously the mind. Like it's something I have to have things that can kind of like you can play with, and like a DS or something, like a stress ball or something like that, to kind of help you get away from the trigger.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can easily have it any time of the day. It doesn't matter what time of the day you have it. Yeah. I
think it's also really important to do the things that scare you, without going too over the top. For me, I'm terrified of having a panic attack. It really scares me, especially in public when I don't know anybody and there's no one to take out and like look after me and tell me everything's going to be okay. I'm really scared of being in public by myself. But little steps, like going to the corner shop, going for a walk around the corner, little things like that, get yourself used to it, because otherwise it could get a lot worse. I think you've got to push yourself a little bit, even though some days you really don't want to, some days you really want to stay in bed and not see the world.
I think we all know one of those days.
We all know those days, whether you suffer with a mental health issue or not. But it is quite tricky, and so I think do the things that scare you is probably a good idea. And another important thing to remember is that sadly no one is immune to mental health issues.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody, even if you have the most amazing life
someone who comes from a really rich background could have anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to class ourselves pretty normal. We're quite normal girls. Like, we're a bit woo.
Yeah, but that's us.
But that's just us. But we're a bit zany. But we are perfectly normal girls. We've had normal upbringings.
Yeah.
And come from normal backgrounds. We both suffer with anxiety and various other issues. So it's very important to remember that sadly no one is immune. And if you see your friend going through something, or a family member, talk to her or him. If they seem really upset or not themselves, just ask them what's the matter. And even if they feel like they're lashing out at you all the time, just sit them down and say, are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help? Because you don't know how much that would help them, honestly. Having you as a friend is great, because I can tell Chloe everything and anything.
Yeah, me too.
She knows exactly how I'm feeling. She knows how to deal with my panic attacks or anxiety, and I just find it really helpful.
But I think that's the case as well. Obviously, if we're both suffering at the moment, or like with anxiety, that's a good. In a way, it's not a good thing. Like we spoke last night, it's not a good thing. But it's not a bad thing either, because obviously we can both help each other out
and relate, and we know what's going on.
We don't feel alienated.
No. I also think that websites such as Mind and Mood Gym are really good websites, because you realise that you're not alone. Anxiety and mental illness itself can make you feel so isolated, like, oh my god, I'm the only person in the world going through this.
I really thought that.
Same, and I thought I was going mad, and you're not going mad at all.
You're just going
through a bit of a stressful time, and hopefully it will get better. But you're not the only one either, and I think websites like that, like Mind and Mood Gym, make you realise that, and you can talk to people in confidence on Mind, and I find that really helpful.
There are so many different like social media chat rooms that you can go onto, Facebook pages that you can like. I like one called Trichotillomania Learning Centre.
So if you feel like you're not able to talk to anyone that you know,
there's always online,
and I just find it really helpful. There's lots of advice from professionals unlike us. And I just find it really useful, and it's nice to know that you're not alone in this horrible world of mental illness. Hate.
That's true though. That's what you go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everyone can be fine.
And that's our little advice about mental health and our little stories. So I hope you enjoyed, and I really hope that if it helped at least one person out there, then that would be amazing. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Join me next week for more Happy Wednesdays.
Bye.